These days, in the counseling sessions that we have conducted, we have seen rising cases of depression, stress, anxiety, and even lack of concentration, less focus on studies in the children of the age group of 10 to 15. So, why is this really happening, and what is the root cause of this issue? Not just that the children are facing issues, but also we find that many parents who come to us are telling us that our child does not listen. So that's why we thought that this is a very important topic to touch upon, and that's why I'm going to share with you a couple of things that we have noticed in the behavior of these children and these parents, because of which the cases of depression, anxiety, and stress in both of them are rising. Now, as a parent, you may remember your childhood days. It's very important to even have the memory of your own childhood to be a good parent. So, in your childhood days, do you remember learning a cycle or riding a bike? How did you learn it? Your parents used to take you, or maybe some elder brother or sister used to take you down the road with the bike, with the cycle, and they used to make you sit on it, ask you to pedal, and they used to hold your cycle from the back. They used to hold the carrier and then used to pedal. So slowly, you learn the art of pedaling, and then gradually, as you could do this more smoothly, they started letting loose the carrier, and when they left it, and the first time you had the ride of the cycle on your own, it was such an immense joy, isn't it? Imagine your parents would have said that it's very dangerous to ride a cycle. You should not do it. You may fall, you may get hurt, so don't do it. Or they would have never left you alone. They would have never left that cycle and let you ride it on your own. You would never have learned and never have reached where you're today. So in each and every case, your parents have done the role of a parent. The children, as we as children, or the parents today who were once a child, used to listen because their parents were parents. Today, children don't listen because the parents have become their friends. Puzzled? Then watch this video till the end to understand each and every detail of how things have turned around and how things have messed up because of certain wrong myths about parenting that are going on social media and everywhere these days. I'm going to put up here 10 reasons why your child may not be listening to you. So these could be the possible reasons. And if at all you still find it difficult, it's better to seek counseling in a timely manner so that the problem doesn't become worse. Before we go ahead, if you are still not joined this journey of mind wellness every day, do subscribe to this channel so that you get important updates and tips about counseling, psychology, and such other beautiful aspects of stress relief on this channel of mind wellness every day. The first thing that I'm going to discuss here is the term of gentle parenting. Now, people have come across this term of gentle parenting, and this is a highly misunderstood concept. Gentle parenting is often perceived as if you have to treat your child as your equal. No, you don't have to. It is about respecting the child's individuality, but at the same time, not losing your role as a parent. See, as a parent, imagine you as a child when you went to a parent and you spoke about your issues. What did you expect? You expected that they respect your views, they understand you, they show empathy, they feel sensitive towards your feelings, and then they guide you into the right path. This is what is the beauty with which a child would learn. So the same thing, if it is implemented, it becomes gentle parenting. If your child comes to you with a problem, you ignore it, then you're not doing it right. But if your child comes to you and you're respecting the child's feelings, empathizing, and also of offering a solution from your side on this particular issue, then the child will feel that, oh yes, I have a support system, and this becomes gentle parenting. If you sit with the child and ponder on, oh my god, what a problem you have, then the child will feel that, okay, the parent is incapable. Similarly, if you just ignore the child's need and say, okay, it's okay, forget about the problem, it's not a big thing, then also it will not be any good for the child. Second important thing that happens is many parents have become, in the name of gentle parenting, obstacle removers of the child's path. No, you are not an obstacle remover of the child's path. You don't have that job. Your job is to be a support system for the child through those obstacles. The child should learn to overcome them on their own. The more you offer to remove the obstacles, the more dependent the child will be. And that is not the aim of any parent. The more you're removing the obstacles from your child's path, that means, I'll give you an example. If suppose you find that the child is worried, oh my God, I have two projects to complete in the next 4 days, and the child needs to complete them, you sit with the entire chart papers and do everything on your own and just offer that project to the child. What is going to happen? The child will become dependent. Okay, our parents are doing my role, so whatever problems I have, I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to think on the problem. I don't have to find the solutions to the problem, what am I going to do? I'm just going to put orders to my parents, and the parents will be doing it. So this is what is the impression created in the child's mind. And uh, so the child will always come to you with a problem and just ask you to do it. Now, if you're doing this obstacle removing process very frequently, then what happens? What is the understanding that the child has? The child feels that the child is in a dominant position. They can command, they can put forth the issues, and it will be resolved by the parents. Now, suddenly, when you feel that, okay, I don't want to be the obstacle remover, the child should also learn. Then one fine day, you just wake up and you just ask the child to start doing things on their own. What's going to happen? They will not listen because they have lost that capability, which in fact you have done, to actually think, act, and solve the problem. You should, in fact, have told the child how to solve the problem of completing the projects. You should not have removed the obstacle, but become a support system. So, just like when you're riding a bike, what you should be doing is you should be supporting the child when the child is riding. You should be actually making the child do it on their own, become independent, and slowly get out of that particular pathway and let the child learn to cross the obstacles and let the child cross the obstacles on their own. Also, when the child is hurt, maybe they fall, maybe they had a fall from the bike or the cycle or whatever they're driving, and you are there. What is your role is basically to comfort the child, take care of the bandaging and everything, and comfort the child and see to it that they get up again and do the same activity fearlessly. So if they have developed a fear of that activity, you have to do the job of removing the fear and showing the child that it's okay to fall once in a while and get up and then keep going. So if you're able to inculcate that habit, then the child will listen to you, will actually feel that, okay, the parent is a support system. They are not there to do the job. So whenever they are asked to do the job from your side, they will obey, they will listen, they will understand. The third important and in fact a very important thing is that you are setting a bad example. So suppose you ask your child to exercise, suppose you're asking the child to stop using the mobile so frequently, and you say, okay, during when you're eating, when you're actually talking to somebody else, you should keep the mobile at the side. But when it comes to you, you are doing the same thing as the child. You are also using your mobile frequently. You are not exercising. You're not waking up early. Then the weightage to your words is lost. So the child will not listen to a person who himself or herself is not doing the things which they are advising. See, advising is very easy, but when you're not doing those things on your own and actually passing on the details to your child, then psychologically it is very difficult for the child to digest that advice. So setting a good example is the best way to actually get things going the way you want to do it. Now, fourth one is extremely opposite to what we just saw. It is called as hands-off parenting. Those parents who just wipe off their responsibility and say, okay, you are now grown up, now you are big enough, you should learn this, you should do on your own, you should know this. So they are actually trying to make the child independent. They may have learned it in the same way, probably. This is actually an extreme way of putting forth the parental advice. They are not just making the child independent, they are over disciplining the child, and at the same time, they are making the emotion, they are breaking their emotional bond from the child. It's like you throw the child in the water and say, okay, now learn to swim. Whereas in that case, you should actually be a little bit of help, guide, and be there for the child till it learns to swim. But what you've done in hands-off parenting, you've just thrown the child into water and say, okay, swim on your own, you're big enough. Now, what happens in the child's mind, the psychology, see how it works. It's basically they start distrusting the parent. They feel that the parents are of no good. They are not capable of giving help and support whenever needed. And so when you go to advise them, you ask them to do a particular thing in a particular way. They say, no, I'm not going to do it. I'll do it my way. When I need the support, you are not there. When I asked for support, you said do it on your own. So now when you want me to listen, I'm not going to listen. The fifth one, now I've seen such people also. They themselves are childlike. They themselves have not yet overcome their own childhood feelings, depression, anxiety, or whatever the case may be. They may have unresolved issues from childhood which they are still carrying forward. They may be immature and they are not able to handle the child. In such cases, we see a lot of mood swings and tantrums in the parents itself. Now, when the child is a child and the parent is supposed to be a parent, it's actually getting reversed. That means the children feel that I have to be bigger, I have to be the support system because there are so many mood swings and tantrums, and you don't never know when the climate may become clouded. So they have to grow up and they feel that okay, I am more mature than my parents, and then they start behaving in that manner. Now, when it comes to advice or when a parent finds themselves in the role as a parent and starts putting forth what the child should do, the child does not listen because now suddenly it's become like a role reversal. The child feels I'm grown enough, I have a lot of maturity, because in the situations when I was down, You had your mood swings, you had your tantrums, you didn't handle the situation well. I had to do it on my own. So when it comes to that type of a format in the child, they start to not listen to the parent because your image has become tainted in the mind of the child. See, once in a while, having some mood swing and tantrum is fair enough because you're a human being. But if it is going on frequently and with no reason, then the child feels abandoned. They have to become more mature and they will not listen. The sixth important thing is that there is a myth that a good parent never shouts, a good parent never scolds. It is a part of discipline. There are times when you may have to say something or you may have to be a little harsh when you're disciplining the child if the child is not listening. So there are times when you may have to not go down to the will of the child and you may have to use some other methodology to control the behavior of the child. So in such cases, the parent may have to sound a little harsh, a little strict to the child, but remember, this should not be because it was your mood swing. It should not be because it was your tantrum. It should be because you want to do something good to the child. You want to actually change the mindset of the child. It is for the betterment of the child. This reaches the child because they understand that what has happened right now was for my benefit. It was not done because the parent is in a bad mood. So when a little shouting, a little harshness may be required to control a bad behavior of the child, and this should not be taken in an adverse way. The parents should use this occasionally, if at all required. It may not be like all the time, but occasionally having such type of control and strict behavior may be required. System of reward would be different rewards. System of fear would be different fears. You don't have to actually scare the child off, but you may have to imbibe certain fears, fear of social standards, fear of maybe looking bad in the society, whatever the case may be. Like you may have to put some fears in the mind of the child to make them work as per what is the required standards. The seventh important thing is that you and your partner, that is the husband and the wife, are not in consensus on the basic discipline standards that need to be followed. So if a person feels that no, whatever is food in the plate should be finished. If you don't want to eat, don't take the food in the plate. But if another parent themselves don't feel anything wrong in that, they may say, okay, you don't want to eat, just throw it away. So it could be such a simple act where the discipline is needed. What is correct in this case is that the person should take only what is needed and finish the entire thing, food that is on the plate. This is the correct way of disciplining, but maybe there is no consensus in both the parents. So the child doesn't know what to do and they may not listen at all. Another thing that alternatively can happen is the child takes advantage. So wherever they want to listen to a particular parent, whatever is in favor of them, they will listen to that and say, okay, I'm listening to my mother, I'm listening to my father. What is the problem? So if the other parent tries to tell them something good, tries to discipline them, they will not listen because the other partner is not on the same page. So in terms of basic discipline, it is very important to sit down with your partner and tell them that this is what is required. So if any kind of issues are there, they should be sorted first amongst the parents and then the discipline should be imbibed in the child. The eighth point that can come up is either you're overexposing the child or you're underexposing the child. That means what? Basically, you are putting the child in, you're like overburdening the child with many things at a time. So you have to join this class, you have to learn this language, you have to go for maybe like some exercise class, you have to also go for your tuitions, you have to come back and do homework, 10 different things in the mind of the child, and then the child feels the pressure, the stress, and they don't listen. They say, okay, now I'm going to quit. So there comes a point when they may quit. So they will not listen to you on anything. Or on the other side, you may even underexpose the child. The child has a lot of talents. You're not ready to take effort. You're not ready to take you're not ready to give exposure to the child to different things, aspects of life. You don't take them to socialize. You don't take them outside with you. You're not exposing them to different types of people in the world. They don't know what the world is like. There are even parents who don't take children to hospitals, to funerals, just because they feel that, okay, and the child should be protected. So this is absolutely wrong. The reality of life also should be shown to the child. Maybe you are there with them, you're protecting them, but the reality should not be just hidden from them. They should be exposed to reality in a safe environment. That is what is needed, and that is what is the role of the parent. So when you are underexposing the child and it's going on for a long time period, and then suddenly you wake up one day and say, okay, now the child is grown up and they should know this, they should know to cook, they should know to drive a bike on their own, they should be able to manage on their own, they should be able to live on their own, then the child will never listen to you. They will not get disciplined at that age because you have woken up late. It is a slow process right from their birth that you have to slowly start disciplining them into a proper person. The ninth important thing is you don't correct them when they are wrong. Sometimes you just put it up in a laugh and then say, okay, they had argued with somebody, and then you just laugh upon it. See, look how they're arguing. Look what they're saying. and you just laugh upon that situation. No, if you don't want a child to behave in a particular pattern, then every time they are wrong, you should correct on that same problem. If you are not correcting them on the same issue 2 times, but correcting them once in a while, sometimes, then they will not understand. They will say, last time you laughed upon that problem and today you are getting angry. So being consistent and correcting them every time they're wrong on a particular situation. For this, you need to be very stable and consistent in your own behavior. And then the things can work the way you want. The things will work in your favor and the child will listen to you. And finally, the last one, the concluding one, you may not be growing with the child. So if you as a parent don't learn new skills, don't keep up with the pace of the world, you don't understand the child's language. Like these days we say Generation Z. So what is this Gen Z? Then you say, okay, oh my God, I didn't know this. I didn't know what you're saying. I don't know what this term is. So then that is also wrong because you are not exposed yourself to the current situation. You have not grown with them. And then they feel, okay, these people are not knowing anything. They don't know the actual things what are going on in the world, and then they will not listen to you. So they may feel you are like outdated and you are not having the maturity, needed, and so then they don't listen. So overall, if we have to see, gentle parenting is a very good term, but you should not be protecting them and keeping them in a shell. That's not gentle parenting. Gentle parenting is having respect, empathy, healthy boundaries with the child, but at the same time, exposing them to different situations in life, making them grow as a person, as a human being, and at the same time, helping them to overcome the fear, the problems that they may facing in the obstacles of life. So let them face the obstacles on their own, be there with them, and then support them every time they need your help. So an emotional bond is created when a support system is felt in the case of that parent. If they feel that you're not the support system, then the emotional bond breaks and then the child does not listen. So this is basic psychological issues that have been noticed in different counseling sessions, which I've shared with you today. And hopefully these can help you in whatever the issues that you're facing with your child. And if you feel that the child or you yourself may need some help in terms of counseling, definitely you should approach a counselor in your area so that the issue doesn't aggravate to such an extent. I mean, we see today children go to extremes, which should not happen in any of the cases. It is not done. It should not happen. So hopefully these tips can help you out in your journey as a parent. And if you like them, do share it with people who may find it useful also. And at the same time, put a like and put your comments of what you feel about these tips and points that I've given. So hope to see you in the next video of Mind Wellness Every Day. Stay subscribed. Take care. Thank you.